Zayn Dark Shadow was an intermediary for them. You know, he was kind of a patsy for them to do a lot of their work when they couldn't show their faces.
Look, she needs me to procure certain, I think it's material components. I think I'm just smuggling. But effectively, the things I'm getting for her are, she needs some Arcanotech electrical gear. Kristen, you look under the stage, Riz and Adine, as Kristen lifts the thing up, you look under and see that there are several glowing little stinger notes from Porter on Ruben's composition, crafting a song, and it's "Get Mad." It's the song he's performed at Frosty Fair. She mentioned something about a Cloud Rider engine. She asked if there were there's a number of different companies that make them. They're obviously extremely expensive, so it's not like there's too many different models of them. But she asked about a couple specific different models and if it would be possible just to get schematics for one. You see that there is this thing that apparently got shattered. There was like some rough housing down here, and you see on the side of the box it says Cloud Rider engine. She asked for two things that I wasn't too familiar with because they sort of fall outside of what I would call a classical arcana and far more into the realm of the divine, which is a little bit outside of my purview. She asked me to go collect something called Devil's Nectar, which I had to run down and I had to go all the way to Bastion City for. And ambrosia. You also see, now this is the weird one, and you remember this ties back to something Aylwin said. You see there are so many fucking NutriBullets in here. Just blenders, blenders, blenders. And as you smell them, you smell this nectar sweet yogurty protein shake. And as you look at it and sample it in a little thing in your briefcase that goes like, it comes up containing protein, whey, several vitamin supplements, and a huge amount of ambrosia. They did order 2 bottles, which was like twice as much as the last chunk of time. So it seems like they needed more than normal, but I'd be amazed if they, you know, 2 bottles if you were gonna, yeah, it was sort of interesting. I feel like maybe just one of the trucks is using it as like a garnish or something like that, because if you were using it if you were trying to make like big sheets of like a baklava or something like that, you'd need way more than I made. There are some flakes of phyllo dough down under the desk. She takes you through, and you see in the logs that the first delivery of Devil's Nectar to make Devil's Honey happened about a week or 2 after spring break last year.
Oh, interesting. So even before Lucy died.
Even before Lucy died. You find correspondence between Bobby Dawn and Porter, where Bobby Dawn is communicating to Porter, and you just see at the top of a letter that says, "My dear Mr. Cliffbreaker, have you ever heard of a thing called Devil's Honey? I feel like it might be able to help your plan to some degree." You see that at one point, Lucy and Buddy had MCATs signed by Porter to multi-class paladin. I would say that, like, with whatever insight you rolled on her in that moment, that's a quick, that's an action that she went to like someone who knew that was on the table. Does that make sense? Like, that's not like a, oh shit, I better kill Buddy for some reason. It's like, that was already on her mind and it just went like, okay.
Yeah. I feel like it makes me think that like his grandfather set him up to get killed.
Bobby Dawn and Porter
to do a lot of their work when they couldn't show their faces.
You see a bunch of texts and messages from a burner account that through context you begin to realize is definitely Jace. You stay in line until we're ready to move. You also see that there are a ton of little encryptions and codes with his communications with the rat grinders in the office. Okay. And what you see is that the rat grinders headquarters is Ruben's house. And there's a lot of communications back and forth. And it's very clear he sees them enough at school that he doesn't have to say anything incriminating over text. He's not stupid. But there's a lot of like, how are things going? And it's like, we're headed over to Ruben's later to work this problem out. The uphill battle that Kipperlilly is fighting is the reaction that all of you had to her is the reaction that a lot of people have to her.
What?
I pointed out.
She walks up and goes, hi, I'd like to sign up to run for class president. And you see Maisie says,
Who even is she?
Completely dismissible and So I don't know how they had sway over Zayn. Somebody must have had some kind of point of access to him.
I'm wondering if we can ask Jawbone if Jace ever asked him which students were suffering from rage disorders.
Right.
Porter's been taking them out.
Yeah.
But
right.
He's the
also,
one who's been taking
but
them
she
out and
started
giving them
out being like,
extra XP.
this school clearly has favorites. So I'm sure the second someone was like showing her a little bit of favoritism,
Yeah.
she was
Like,
like,
I
so
deserve this.
primed for it.
Like they saw her and went, that is a person with so
Yeah,
much
primed.
untapped rage.
You see old stuff in the Rec Grinders chain. It's like from last year being like, this is really exciting. Like the big guy's been looking out for us for a long time. God, the act I had to put on for you simpering, sweet little fools. Because when you ask for it and accept it willingly.
This is Arthur Eggford. No student body president may be compelled against their will through either act of magic to disband the school or engage in any act of change.
Porter goes, fuck! ECJ says, this is why we didn't do this earlier, Porter.
If you were already the champion.
So smart for somebody
So he
who
knew
is-
you were the champion that whole time? Or?
Well, I wasn't the champion, but
Yeah.
I
made
think
you.
He made you,
he
he
wanted me.
manipulated
That's why
you
he
into being the
yeah.
champion.
It says big thing is underlined, must have president. Underline, 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 underline. You see that they have the same bylaws you do.
No student body president may be compelled against their will.
They need Kipperlilly to accept it willingly. As their villainous plan falls apart due to Kipperlilly's death. And honestly, because Kipperlilly just died, Maisie loses her turn. As Jace and Porter have to redo the plan on the fly right after Kipperlilly died. And I went, oh, their plan's fucked. Kipperlilly can't win the presidency. Hey, you were charmed by him. At first, I didn't want to give Porter all fives, but I ultimately believe his non-traditional approach pushed me to become the best barbarian I can be. Was Zara? Who knows?